Alright, so I've had these two rings for a while now, and if you know me and you know my channel, you know that I've had the Oura ring probably over a year now. I did a comparison to the watch and the ring. I have that on my channel, so if you want to check it out, you can. But recently, I just discovered the UltraHuman ring. Now, this is something new, and it is a direct competitor to Oura. These guys were based in India, and they just moved the factory into the US, and I really think that this guy is going to give Oura a run for its money. So I'm going to go over everything like that in this video. You want to stay to the end. I have a way for you to get a deal on either of these, so I'm not going to really be biased towards either. I'm going to kind of go over them and let you decide. Also, I'm going to be incorporating these two in a little bit of my vacation. So I also took them on vacation when I went to Greece and kind of brought them around, tested them out where I was. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit of a different video, but I'm going to go over everything. Let's get right into it. All right, so these are going to be the 4 ways I break down this video. First, appearance, how it looks physically and how the apps look digitally between both. Next, I'm going to talk about features, of course. Then battery life, so I wore these from full charge to dead. Finally, a rundown of the value and the price, show you what you're really getting. So we're going to start with appearance, and we're going to first start with the Oura ring. All right, so when it comes to appearance, you have quite a few options to choose from. The color that I have is silver, but you also have black to choose from, which is glossy stealth, which is matted, brushed titanium, which is new, and that's way more expensive. Then you have gold, and then you have rose gold, which is the most expensive. After you pick the style, you go to the next step, which is the size. Now, Oura offers a sizing kit. You're also able to, in the US, go to Best Buy and get it sized there as well. Personally, I already knew my ring size and it was pretty much the same. I went for an 11. Now, when we go to UltraHuman, they don't have as many colors, just pretty much not the brushed titanium and rose gold, but you do have raw titanium, and all of these colors are the exact same price. And the same thing with UltraHuman, they give you a sizing kit as well. Now, they do give you a warning on the website. It is a different size from what you're used to on normal rings, so that's something to consider. I did get the sizing kit myself. I do recommend doing that, getting the sizing kit. One thing to keep in mind when you're sizing the ring is once they send you the sizing kit, you're able to download the sizing app in the App Store or on Google Play, and you're able to scan, and the app itself will tell you what size ring it recommends for you. Now, I use this personally for myself, and when I got the recommendation, it was a 9. My ring size is normally an 11 on my pointer finger, which is where it needs to be on your hand. And I got the 9 and it was pretty tight. It did not feel comfortable. So I went to a 10 and it is way better. I'm not worried about it falling off. You have to consider when you're sleeping at night, your finger's going to swell a little bit, especially if your finger is not used to a ring. For me, mine swelled up a little bit and I got used to it within a few days. It really wasn't that big of a deal. It was for the Oura ring or the UltraHuman ring. One last thing I'm going to say about the sizing is that the app, it seems like it undersizes you a little bit. So go for a size up, because the UltraHuman ring is a little bit smaller than, for example, the Oura ring. My normal pointer finger size is an 11, and when I had the Oura ring, I did get an 11. A little different than the UltraHuman, where I got recommended a 9, and the 10 is what worked for me. So the UltraHuman ring does seem to be a little bit smaller than the Oura ring, but you can also, like I said before, Oura has those little divots and UltraHuman sits flat, so those two differences make a difference on your finger. But just keep in mind that you will probably need to go for a little bit size bigger, and you can always exchange them for either ring, so just keep that in mind. But now we can get to a little bit of a fun part. So what I'm going to talk about is the appearance, like what it looks like in terms of colors and things like that. A lot of people go for gold, you know, that's a really popular color, very common. Personally, I like silver, and for me it works really well with my style. I don't know, I just like silver. So here's some pictures from Greece, and I really like this. It's great to have for these rings. If I really wanted to, I would get different rings for different colors and themes that I wear. If you got the money for that, by all means go for it. I don't. So for me, it works really well with silver, and it looks exactly like a regular ring. No one really noticed, unless I told them that I was wearing this ring, that it was that kind of ring, that it was a smart ring. I mean, from first glance, it looks just like a normal ring, so it doesn't really stand out. The one thing I will say is between the rings, the Oura ring is a little bit more puffy, and the UltraHuman ring has a little bit more sleek and straight edge design, as well as the Oura ring has a little bit of like a indent that tells you where to put the ring on your finger. Other than that, they pretty much look exactly the same color wise, and with this, don't really think too much about it in any negative way. And in actuality, when someone finds out about it, they're they're interested and they think it looks cool, they think it is cool. You pretty much have a piece of technology that looks exactly like jewelry and that you can connect to on your phone to tell you about health insights. So I don't know how much cooler it can get than that, but this is not going to be a problem. Just pick the style that you like, what you wear the most with, the most jewelry that you have. Go for that color, that style. You'll love it. Don't think anything about this. Just go for the color that you like and you will be happy. All right, now we get into the features, which is definitely something I've been looking forward to because now we get to see what the difference between both of them really are. So right now I'm on UltraHuman's website and I checked both websites and it looked like this was the best way to determine the comparisons between the two, but I will also be checking out Oura's website just to be non-biased and go over everything with you. One natural thing I will say is the stress with your body's natural rhythm on UltraHuman. I like a lot. I use that very often throughout the day. So let's get started. The first column here is UltraHuman. The second column is Oura. One thing right off of the bat you can tell is the weight difference. It definitely, like it says, varies by size, but in terms of the weight, I did realize that the UltraHuman ring was a little bit lighter than the Oura ring, something that you can tell off the bat, but is not a deal breaker. Many of the other stuff is pretty much the same. Periodically throughout the day, heart rate monitoring, both rings do that. There is a little bit more dynamic and actionable with the UltraHuman, so it gives you a little bit more of a sense of what to do with that information. Temperature monitoring, same thing, 24/7 as long as you're wearing it. Both rings obviously track sleep. That's what we got it for. The stages of tracking are a little bit more. You get a little bit more data to see with your UltraHuman ring compared to the Oura. Sleep counting, distance, calories, and VO2 max, so your oxygen, all of that stuff is on both rings now. UltraHuman just added it and without a subscription fee. So we'll get to that, but continuing down the list, HRV metrics, dynamic recovery tracking. These two are pretty much the same besides SD and N, so a little bit more that you get with HRV. Stress monitoring, both do that, so you get a graph for both rings to see that. You see a little bit more with the UltraHumans. Personally, I like it a little bit more. Now, also the battery life, it says UltraHuman doesn't have as much as Oura ring. I did do a test, so I will show you that coming up. Charging is a little bit longer on the UltraHuman ring compared to the Oura ring. Continuing down, waterproof, both are waterproof, and this says it can go up to 12 hours, so you don't have to worry at all on time frame on when you're wearing this in the water if you decide to. GPS, neither of them have it. Airplane mode, both have it. Find My Device, both have it. Real-time actionable nudges is different with the UltraHuman ring. You get to see throughout the day, it'll give you a notification when something comes up for them to give you information throughout your day to help. Ring display, no display. Circadian rhythm, the same. Caffeine window detection. I drink coffee all of the time, so whenever I wake up, it gives me a window in which you're supposed to drink. This is something big for people who drink coffee because it tells you based off of your temperature, your heart rate, your time that you woke up, go to sleep, all of that stuff. It calculates it and tells you when is the right time to be able to do that. You're not supposed to have caffeine past, I think, 5 o'clock because it messes with circadian rhythm. It takes 6 hours for half of the caffeine in your system to leave your system as a half-life of 6 hours. So that does provide some helpful insights if you're a coffee drinker. I think Oura they're doing experiments. Not everyone gets them. I did see that on the app, but it's not something that's automatically built in just yet. So AFib detection, this is something that is not available in every region, but if you're in the US, it is obviously available. It's similar to the watches and things like that. The Whoop and Garmin doesn't have it, but the Apple Watch does have it. It can detect an obvious AFib episode compared to the Oura ring that cannot. I'm sure Oura ring will probably have that at some point. That's not something that's very talked about. It's just something good to have. If, for example, you're not aware of something bad happening, it will let you know. But continuing, mandatory data subscription, Oura does charge you $650 per month, so $70 per year for the Oura ring. So after you pay the $300 or the $500 that if you buy the more expensive one, you will be paying monthly for it every year for as long as you have it. I still pay for it, but I do really like how the UltraHuman ring is just the amount you pay up front, $300 if you use my link down below. Oura ring does not have that. There's also a link down below for you to get it discounted as well. I'll go over that further later in the video. For Oura, let's go into this. It was a little bit hard to find this spot on their website. It doesn't give you a kind of list of all of the features that it gives you because everyone pretty much knows what Oura does by this point. Smart ring, it tracks your overnight SpO2, daytime, nighttime heart rate monitoring, your battery life, share your heart rate, all your things with your trainer, family member. Everyone can see it if you'd like. Continuing, heart rate monitor, HRV tracking, activity level monitoring, footsteps and calories. That's the same on both. Health status, so your oxygen level, breathing rate, HRV, all of that included on the app. Like I said, blood oxygen sensing, lightweight titanium, is a little bit heavier than the UltraHuman ring, so like I said, trends. It goes over, pretty much takes all of the data points that it captures on the app and puts it into trends for your overall health over time. The same for UltraHuman, accuracy above all, measure HRV, all that good stuff. And it's backed by a bunch of different stuff. So now I'm going to take you into more of the features, using them in my real day-to-day. When I took this to Greece, I used it and I brought it. I tracked my sleep and everything like that. So I'm going to go over everything I have. And this was when I was in Athens the first night wearing the ring. The next morning I was able to track on my UltraHuman, but there was a critical error on Oura, so I wasn't able to track anything on there. And what was funny, that's a little kind of a side thing, was how many animals there are in Athens. There's a lot of animals roaming around. They get fed, and the cats as well. There's a lot of them everywhere. It was really pretty, and seeing the cats all around. I think it's a Europe thing, so it's pretty cool. And the buildings, everything was really nice. I put my drone up later that day, and once we were done in Athens, we boarded the ship. And this is the next morning when I captured wearing my ring. Oura also gave me a problem when I was wearing my ring this day, and this is just comparing the two apps on each day that I was away. So the 16th, it didn't capture anything on Oura. On the 17th, it didn't as well, and you can tell that it was on because of the heart rate. UltraHuman did track it, so you can see everything on there. The sleep, I didn't get much. This trip was really about fun, so I didn't get much sleep. Finally, on Thursday, it tracked. So this is UltraHuman and Oura on the exact same day. It said that I got 5 hours on Oura and 6.25 on UltraHuman. This day I did feel better, so I did feel like I got more sleep and that UltraHuman was a little bit more accurate in that respect. It doesn't show me my sleep stages or any data on the app looking back on it now. On UltraHuman, you're still able to see all of that stuff when you tap into it. You can see that I was relaxed, everything like that. Going on to the next day, I was just comparing back and forth. You can look between both apps at the time. I still didn't get much sleep on this day. This was the last day, Friday, and you can tell my heart rate was on. You can see on Oura, it had tracked my sleep. It has the active rate, my heart rate, and it's pretty much the same as UltraHuman. You can see the total steps. The sleep is pretty much the same. My average heart rate and everything like that. My stress rhythm is pretty similar to both. You can see where it had high levels of stress around before 11 a.m. It's adjusting for European time. You can see that it has it at around the same time. Able to go into UltraHuman and just see a lot more of what goes into your stress score and your scores in general. You can tell on there what is contributing to that, so you can see your skin temperature, your HRV, your last night's HRV, everything averaged out together here. You can see all of that contributes into your score, similar to Oura, just with a little bit more data. Alright, now we're up to the battery test, and this is battery test for the UltraHuman ring, day 1. Before I went to Greece, I wore both rings without taking them off for as long as I could. I started with UltraHuman on June 11th. This was the first morning after wearing it to bed that night. So first day of tracking sleep was June 12th, and the ring was at 84%. Pretty good. This was also when I first learned about the Stimulant Permissible window, where you're better suited to drink coffee and other uppers at that time. At the top, you can see when it's less harmful to take these kinds of stims because it can affect your sleep quality. It takes 5 to 6 hours for half of your coffee to leave your system, so having it in the morning is best. It determines this through sleep, time you go to sleep, heart rate levels, and whatnot. Everything that it tracks factors into something. This was a quick check-in on June 13th with the battery at 78%. Then I skipped ahead a couple of days until June 16th, where the battery was at 39% after daily use. Keep in mind, I was wearing this day and night. I never took it off for anything. I just kept it going, and I left it on. On June 17th, I saw a new pop for the phase advance where it tells you what helps your daily phases and circadian rhythm. Getting sunlight when you wake up is so crucial because it lets your body's evolutionary tail know that it's time to be up, it's sun shining, things are going on, so it knows to set your circadian rhythm to be aware that you have to wake up at this time every day. On this night, I got a ton of sleep and my recovery was good. I felt great too, while starting the day at 31%, so pretty good so far. Next day I recorded was the 19th. I go back to see what happened on the 18th, where I got decent sleep and it was active that day. My heart rate was all over, but a healthy average of 70 beats per minute, which is a relaxed state. Jumping into the 19th, you can see the battery was critically low at 9%. When I woke up, it was telling me that the light sensitivity wouldn't affect much at that time of day, so it didn't really matter for that phase advance, as I was saying before. The 20th was my final day, so you can see I videoed at 5% before I went to sleep around 1:30 that morning. The next day I woke up to the sleep score tracked, heart rate and recovery score, phase tracker, all of it accounted for, while literally being at 1% left on the ring. I counted the trial finish at that point for the total of 9 whole days wearing it the entire time, rain or shine, through any sport, whatever I was doing, it was on my finger. Anyways, onto the charger it went. Now to test the Oura Ring. Alright, now Oura Ring. And I'm just going to save you the time. UltraHuman beat them by 3 days. The first day I put it on the 21st. During that night, I wore it all night. You could see the heart rate. I wore it all night and day that day. And the next time I recorded was on June 24th. 24th, I got my sleep tracked, all that good stuff, 7 hours. And I was wearing it all day and all night. And that collected all the data from that day, all the activity, everything, and the ring was on 36%. So that's 3 days down, 4 days down, 3.5 days down so far. Go on June 25th, this was the 4th day, and at this point the ring is almost tapped out. Here you're able to still see the sleep and everything like that. I also wore it to volleyball and it tracked my activity levels. It automatically detected what I was playing too, which was cool, everything like that. It got my activity, my calories burned, my average heart rate, the intensity of my workouts, everything. And the last day on the 26th, and it did not track my sleep at all. It was almost dead, and it didn't track anything sleep-wise at all. You can see on the app, it doesn't even fill anything up, nothing at all. So not like the UltraHuman Ring that worked until the very end. Even on 1%, it still uploaded your data and calculated everything, tracked everything still for you. Everything was still working, almost dead. Aura's Ring did not do anything for you at this point. It just died, and it said it was at 3%. Couldn't track your sleep, nothing. Now, before I get into how to save you money, the last thing I'm going to go over is the activity features on both rings. UltraHuman just got it. It already works great via a software update, and I am able to track any activity that I do with the ring on. If you watch my previous video, you'll know that the ring does not work well with bodybuilding because there's a strong chance you pick up the bar with the ring and it can scratch or damage it. So I don't recommend it for those activities, but playing things like basketball, volleyball, swimming, any recreational activity, you can use it for. It'll track your steps, heart rate, and everything like that, no problem. And since I brought it to Greece, I figured I would take it in the water, so just to test the depth and also see if salt water would have any effect on that. To my surprise, it did everything no problem. I jumped in the water, swam around for a little bit, and I got out and it was still able to track my heart rate, everything without any problems at all. So it is true what they say, you can't take this in the ocean without having to worry. Everything was very well tracked on both rings. It was pretty much the same, so activity isn't a big game changer when it comes to either ring, but I do personally like UltraHuman's a little bit more because it gives you more to look into when it comes to data. Now, what I wanted to do is show you guys how to get the Oura Ring or the UltraHuman Ring. If you check down below in the description, you'll see a link for either of them. They'll both give you a discount for either, and when you go to either of them as well, you can use your HSA, your FHA savings account, the one that you contribute into for your health benefits. Normally that's reserved only for health things. You wouldn't expect to use that for technology, but this is a health-based technology that you're able to use to track your health, which was very good. I found out about this later on when I got my Oura Ring, so I got reimbursed from my health savings account. For UltraHuman, you can use it right off the bat with the discount below. One thing I will say at the end, since we're talking about price, is UltraHuman does not have a subscription plan. Oura does have a subscription plan. You pay a total of $70 every year to use Oura Ring and its features. UltraHuman charges you nothing monthly, so that is another thing to consider. I personally, if I'm going in between both rings, I personally like UltraHuman. It looks very good and sleek. It has good color. It's not as heavy. It's very light feeling, good sturdy design, and all of the data that you get inside of the app is just priceless. On top of that, you're not even paying for the subscription, so that subscription thing was very, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy paying a $6 subscription every month when half the time the ring isn't connecting and it dies very quickly. So personally, if I were to pick which ring was better, I'm going for UltraHuman Ring. I like it more. Personally, I use both of these for months. I've had the Oura Ring even longer, and I really think that the UltraHuman Ring is going to take the world by storm in terms of tech inside of the ring, all of the capabilities on the app. In my opinion, UltraHuman takes the cake for that. There's no subscription, and of course there are other products that UltraHuman are integrating into their ecosystem for you to use in your home for your diabetes, lots of different things. So I really do enjoy UltraHuman Ring. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop any questions down below. It took me forever to make. I took so much time and effort into making this video to make it as unbiased and as high quality as I possibly can with what I had to work with. So if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like the video, comment down below what you think, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.